Good day, I'm gonna note before we start about welding. We need to know the parts of the welding machine before we weld some metals. So this is our welding machines. So this is the controller of the amperes of our welding machine. So this is the ground cable, and this is the ground clamp. So clamp is this is to avoid electrocution upon touching the 2 points. Guarding this enclosure also limits the voltage on enclosure. Well, don't forget the ground clamp into the metal that you want to weld. This is the electrode holder on our rod. You can put your rod in any position you want, like this, like that, or like that. So this is the electrode cable. You're gonna put it to the positive position. So this is the positive position. You're gonna turn it right to lock the electrode cable. Second is the power ground clamp or ground cable. You're gonna put it to the negative line. So you're gonna turn it right to lock. So this is the controller for the amperes that we want to use. We have 10 to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 to 140 amperes is the highest. So we have three kinds of rod here. So the small one is the 2 millimeters, good for 50 amperes. You're gonna use 50 amperes for 2 millimeters. The second one is the 2.5 millimeters, good for 60 to 90 amperes. Can I use? And the big one, and the last one is 3.2 millimeters, good for 90 to 140 amperes. Before we start to weld, we need to know the rod numbers first. Example, this is our welding rod. E means that electrodes. All rods start with letter E. Next is the number. So 60 means the strength of the rod. So 60 stand for 60,000 pounds. 60,000 pounds before the weld breaks. Convert it to kilos. That will be to this 27,215.542 kilograms before the weld breaks. Let's go to the third number, which is 1. 1 signify for good for all position, for flat, horizontal, for vertical, and overhead. If the third number is 2, 2 is good for 2 position only, for flat and horizontal. If 3 is good for 1 position, that is flat position. For the fourth number, it's indicate the components of chemical inside the electrode or rod. Sa Bisaya pa, sa upat ka number sa rod, kay diha makita ang kapaspason muuga sa welding. So ang mayong gamiton kay 0, good for kana siya overhead. So before you even think about welding, make sure you have the right gear, including fire resistant jacket, safety glasses, welding gloves, and an approved welding helmet. And also don't weld on near flammable materials. Choose a location that will give you plenty of room to let sparks fly. So before we weld, I'm gonna show you the position angle of welding. This position is 90-degree position of welding. The second is the best angle is 70 degree. Some welders bend their rod to easily to get the 70-degree position if the table is high. So let's start welding. So the rod I use first is the 2 millimeters, 50 amperes, good for 50 amperes. So the result is nipis. So next is the 2.5 millimeters, good for 60 to 90 amperes. So this is the result of 2.5 millimeters rod, welding rod. The last one is the 3.2 millimeters welding rod, 90 to 140 amperes. So ginaset it to 140 amperes first. So as you can see, the metal has a hole, so we're gonna adjust the amperes to 130 amperes. So this is the result of 3.2 millimeters welding rod using 130 amperes. You can see the difference of the three rod I used. So the 2.5 millimeters welding rod suits for the metal we used. So that's all for the tips and steps for welding or before start welding. Thank you and God bless.